Hey everybody, how you doing today on Special Report? We have a ton of stuff to talk about. I want to talk about some real Black history. I'm going to be going and to the website or the Facebook page, but I'm going to start off here on the news grab. Michelle Obama teases for 2020. All right, guys, a lot of great things are happening, and at the same time, a lot of weird things are happening. Today's date is February 11, 2019, the year of our Lord. And let's just jump into it. Okay. Trump's approval rating, 52%. Why is that significant? Why is that even relevant and or important? Because a lot of things are coming. The pike here, as they say. Hold on. Let me try to. As soon as I get it halfway right, it wants to refresh. I know I should have really probably have thought this out just a hair better, but you know me, just kind of jump right into it. I think that's straight. This is gonna get all right. I'm just scanning through the headlines. So basically, what's happening is we have a situation where a lot of rhetoric. If you guys have been, if you check out either far right, far left blog sites or independent talk shows, basically folks like me, but they, are extreme one way or another, but they totally, let the real rhetoric of their ideology go. You're going to see that there is a huge, huge divide. And I'm not talking about the rich or poor. I'm talking about the Christian and Muslims. I'm talking about the whites, the blacks. I'm talking about the hardcore anti-Tifa and the hardcore MAGA people. There's so many different divides going on right now. And those are just to name a few. There's more. Of course, the gay and straight, the pro-abortion and anti-abortion. Hell, even the pro-blackface and anti-blackface folks are at each other's throats because everything's getting whacked. And the reason why everything's getting whacked because we have a huge spiritual deficit in this country as well as a monetary one. You see, the problem is, as people continue to fall away from spirituality, as people continue to fall away from traditional doctrine and spiritual teachings of whatever faith, I'm getting to an overall universal point here. The overall universal point is that at some point in time, a person has to recognize that there's something greater than self. I mean, self is important, obviously, don't take care of yourself, you die. But there's something greater than self. And until you realize this, until you see it, it's not going to work. It's not going to, it's just not going to be functionable. I'm going to jump over here. Let me see. My gosh. This is so much. I mean, I don't even know what's in my fucking mail. I'm almost scared. I'm almost scared to check it. I mean, fuck 2,000 fucking something or 22,000. Fuck it. I just woke up, guys. I had a hell of a dream. Hell of a dream. And I don't know what quite to make of it. But at any rate, we're going to soldier on. Blah, blah, blah. Most affordable. blah, 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 blah. There's really nothing of substance, I don't think. A lot of YouTube subscribers, as you can tell. It is what it is, guys. Hold on. Where is this? I'm on this one side. Oh, here we go. How come my damn key's not working? This is nice. Fucking cheap ass keyboard. This is fucked up. There we go. Let's go to some Black history, y'all. Oh, gotta turn that off. Should I don't know, man. I might even contact Roman to see if he could possibly come back on. I don't know. All right, let's go. I love this picture here. Oh man, I can't, can I? Or is the whole picture? It's just the top part. Look at this family. I want to break down what's going on in this picture. Hold on, I'm gonna have to adjust my hold on. I'm gonna have to adjust my camera just a bit because of the fact. Perfect. It's way too dark and you're not gonna be able to see it unless I do this. Once again, guys, this is, you want independent media, folks. This is what the independent media looks like. You get this all the time. Trust me. Oh, come on. There we go. Now select that. Select that. No. Now hit select. And we're just going to take this down to where you can see a little more details because it's kind of important. I guess that's better-ish. I don't know. All right. All right. I just want to hold on. Oh, shit. Now, I got to go on my... I got to go on the dang cell phone to... because there's a caption behind this, okay? Here it is. Legendary Hall of Fame Frank Robertson, the first African American to manage a professional team, died at age 83 after winning Most Valuable Player award in both U.S. League. Basically, back then they had the Negro League and the I guess the White League or the National Baseball League. Okay, the only player in history to do so. Went on to manage Cleveland in 1975 with a total of 586 wins, I'm assuming. He is the 10th of the list of the most home runs in Major League career. Robertson, who holds countless other records. This is BBC. I want to cite that, and that was February 7th, 2019. All right. But now I want to get back to this part. Oh, I can't. Okay, I'm going to have to actually use a physical aid. The straw. All right. If you can, I want to see. I'll make sure that, okay, that's not even in focus. I got to get her in focus. All right. If we can see this little corner, and you can't yet, but you will. Trust me. That right there. That says first class. All right. This is back in, I'm assuming the 70s, has to be TWA. Used to be located here in St. Louis, but not anymore. But look how, classy people used to dress back then. She's looking sharp, you know, going everywhere. Hey, what's up, Mentality 85. Reasonable dude. When was this country ever spiritual? When was America had slavery, Jim Crow, or child labor? I like that question, dude. And let me answer that. America itself, if you ask me, the spiritual apex was during the Civil War. Was when people realized, now you can say, oh, it's for murder. No, they realized on a fundamental level it's wrong to have fucking people in those type of conditions of slavery, being raped and beaten. A lot of us wants to turn a blind eye to the cause and consequence of that tradition. A lot of us wants to turn a blind eye on why do people play games? Why do people so-called sell out their own people? Why do people basically date out their race? Why do people do business with people who don't look like them? Why do people, all these why do people don't, okay? The answer to America, the answer to the U.S. Constitution is called freedom. You might not like it. I might not like it. Why do people, abort their babies? Why do people sleep with the same sex? Why do people, there's all kinds of things. But the consciousness of America is the purity of spirituality, the pure form of freedom, where you actually have choice that's based upon principles that you know to be right and wrong, not what you may have been told or instructed to be right or wrong, or perhaps read in a manuscript or a book, but what you know in your heart. And you can never experience that underneath a dictatorial regime. You can never experience that under even a socialist or communist model. You can only experience that underneath a model that allows for that type of freedom of choice to even occur. And that is the United States model of government. Only if we could get those who wants to carry on those very negative, very destructive attitudes in a professional civil matter. In other words, we got to get the racist ass cops, judges, and congressmen and women out of the game in order to really have the country that you want. Certainly the country that most of us desire. I don't care who you are. Nobody desires to be told what you could and cannot do on a personal level. Now, I don't mean that people don't want to follow laws. That's the difference. See, look into Zachary K. Hubert YouTube channel about. Hold on, I'll check that out. I'll go there after we continue down the Black History route here. I will go to that channel, Mentality, and we'll check it out, because I was checking this out earlier and there's a lot of good stuff, but I didn't want to end my train of thought there as far as American freedom and what it really represents. If you want to have true independence, if you want to have true sense of purpose, once again, reasonable dude, you cannot achieve this within slavery, obviously. How can you raise a family? No, seriously, how can you truly raise a family with traditional values of your traditional people when, in order to get into the process of slavery, you do remember they had a certain process. They just didn't grab a person and throw them on the boat, you know what I mean, and sell them across. No, sir. No. You had your culture. You were doing your thing. Somehow someone kidnaps you, okay? Sort of like today with the sex trade, all right? Somebody kidnaps you. And then they send you to like an encampment. And then that's where they start that's the basic training. That's where they start breaking your ass down. All right? You're literally in a pen, beaten, brutalized. After that occurs, then you're putting on the boat. And then you're sold on the block. And then you're into the plantation chattel slavery. And then your children are growing up with no sense of the time before all that. But now, here's the cold, cruel reality. We're starting to get farther and farther away from that event. Collectively, I'm talking about black folks as a whole in the United States of America. As we continue on this path, and you mock my words, 100 years from now, slavery is not going to really even be an issue. It's not. Information is jumping so fast and so rapidly that all I'm asking the young people, and not just of my race or whatever, but of the world, let the hate die off with the old. It will. It will. It always does. And after people come out of this fucked up Back to the Future gag meets, I guess, Groundhog Day, where we're going back and back. No, I'm not sitting here even suggesting that there are not racist people out here willing to do heinous things to black folks. I am not suggesting that, because we all know that to be true. This channel will open your mind in a new way. Well, hold on. Let's jump over here real quick. You know, I don't want to lose. I can always go back to the Facebook page there, because we already had it keyed up. All right. So we're gonna check out your boy there, Zachary. All right. Zachary. Okay. Ebert. Is this old boy right here? Mentality. Can you see that guy? Is that him? Right here with the face, or what does he look like? How do I know if I have the right channel? Requesting assistance. We'll just check her out. Hold on, ABC. I don't know if, oh, yeah, I guess this is the guy. We're going to check out something he did, ABC show. He did this shit 22 hours ago. Uh-oh. I need calm.
Pretty much all day, every day, and Grammarly makes.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Truth Seeker. I want to talk about this news clip regarding the death of the musician Kyle Yorlitz. Watch this quick clip, and then we'll talk about it. I think you're going to see what I want you to see.
The deadly shooting of a country singer in Nashville, Tennessee. Kyle Yorlitz gunned down outside of his home. Police now arresting 5 children for his murder. Girls and boys, get this, as young as 12 years old. Authorities saying they were trying to steal Yorlitz's car, shooting him when he refused to hand over the keys. Those kids are now charged with criminal homicide, and prosecutors are looking to try all 5 as adults. As young as 12 years.
That's 12 years old.
Okay, so they had to zoom up and show you the address, which is clearly 3220. And it's the first 3 digits that are going to stand out to a lot of people. 322 is the number associated with Yale Skull and Bones, the Masonic fraternity. In 2004, Tim Russert of Meet the Press asked George W. Bush and John Kerry what 322 meant, and John Russert ended up dead not long after at 2:23 in the afternoon, reportedly. George W. Bush and John Kerry were both members of Yale Skull and Bones, an exclusive secret society that allows 15 new members each year. What's interesting about the 15 part is if you add 1 through 5 together, it equals 15. And they were showing you this address as they were talking about the 5 teenagers responsible for the supposed death of this musician.
All right. I see where this is going. Okay, yeah. All right, I will check this guy out. I'm going to vet this channel. All right, and I know it's good, but I want to get back to the Black History thing, because this is what I want to focus on. I do, the country guy. I am sorry that, you know, he got caught up in the skull and bones. But it all goes back to the same root, all right? Just hear me out. Just a way more than that. No. I know mentality. And I just want to tell you, I appreciate you sharing me that channel. I wish you would have done it years or weeks ago, so I could really look at more of it, because time is running out. The reason why I want to speak on this today, I wanted to share this website with you guys, is because we are fast approaching the time where we're not going to have this platform anymore, where we're not going to have this open dialogue. We're not going to be able to communicate. Hold on, I'm sorry, I got to go back to this though. See, this is what I was talking about, mentality. Now I'm just off my original focus, and now I'm on to this.
Behind the number 322 that wasn't shared by Bush or Kerry with Tim Russer. If you go to Genesis 3:22, it's about the tree of life and knowing good and evil. It's the 78th verse of Genesis, Genesis 3:22. You can look this up very easily, even on your computer. And if you look at the King James Version, the wording, or if you look at the New International Version wording, they both use different words, but if you copy the verse, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just do it. I will make the point right now.
I understand, dude. That's just
we'll get the King James Version wording and the New International Version wording. Genesis 3:22, and the Lord God said, behold, the man is become as one of us to know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever. If you copy the wording up to knowing good and evil, and you get the Gematria value of it, it sums to 322 in the reverse reduction. Now let's look at the verse in the New International Version. So a little bit different wording, but as you'll see, the same Gematria value, 322. So here's the New International Version wording. And the Lord God said, the man has now become like one of us, knowing good and evil. He must not be allowed to reach out his hand and take also from the tree of life and eat and live forever. So the verse also has to do with life and death. And here this number is being put up in a story of death. Here's the New International Version wording. A little bit different, but still 322. Now, here's what's interesting about that. The tree of life is part of the ancient mystery religions. Ancient mystery religions equals 322. That includes Hermeticism, alchemy, Kundalini, Kabbalah. And Genesis 3:22 has a lot to do with Kabbalah. The tree of life is the physical model for Kabbalah. Kabbalah is an old world belief that goes all the way back to Babylon. It's about understanding the way God operates.
Hold on, I had to stop right there. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Goes all bit. Babylon is nothing, guys. Do you not realize there were civilizations prior to Babylon? Kemetic civilizations that Babylon basically gets its stuff from. Listen, don't get me wrong. I understand where dude's going at with this, and I appreciate it. I really do. But that's not speaking to the root of it. That's not speaking to the root of our plight, of our situation. Now, I want to show you this picture right here that a lot of you guys, and this is what it's about. Do you know who that's a statue of? That is Martin Luther King. In full body at a cathedral, I believe in England. I'll scroll down and read the headline to you. But I want you to get a good shot of that. I want you to get a good shot of his hand. One's open. One's pointed up. There's a little boy down here at his knee. All right. The head of the boy, where is it located? Now, I will say one thing. Even though that King was a Protestant minister from the Catholic perspective. He's one of 10 people that they did this for. Okay, so let's read the little side note. And I want to cite this is from Anthony Watts, and he's the one who posted this, so I don't know. Did you know that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is one of the 10 world's martyrs of the 20th century, who's depicted in a life-size statue at the entrance of Westminster Abbey in London? Fun facts. Happy Black History Month. You know, that is a, I mean, that's so telling. You're like, why is that so telling? You know, for all the hate, how many Protestants and Catholics died in Ireland? People died. They died killing each other over religious differences, cultural differences. But yet in England, at a Catholic cathedral, they took it upon themselves to put Martin Luther King in stone, a glorification process. So as long as this building stands, there will be some remembrance of him. There's a bigger game at play here, guys. And we're constantly on the back note. And it's sad. It truly is. Look at this. John Earl Reese was shot while dancing in cafe with his 13 and 15-year-old cousin in Gregory County, East Texas. Local police were reluctant to investigate the shooting and didn't get very much attention since the children killed were black. The following year, after Texas Rangers decided to take the case, 2 white men were arrested. One of the shooters admitted that they decided to shoot the kids because they were angry about new schools being built in a mostly black community. They were upset about schools. So this young boy, look at that face, guys. Look at that face. Same face you saw in the camps on the continent of Kemet, being brutalized, being dehumanized. The same face you saw on the selling blocks in the Bahamas, in India, in Australia, in America, all the Americas. There was slavery worldwide. Just like the drug thing today. There's a bigger game at play. There always has been. Those eyes, those ears, those mouths, the nose, the skin, the hair texture. That's the face that was brutalized. That's the face that had the dignity stripped away. That's the face that spirituality they tried to rip it away and replace it with indoctrination. That's the face. And this is the hard cold facts of the matter. If you lack the power to protect and defend, if you lack the mental fortitude to understand that there's beings that can protect and defend, if you don't realize, spiritually speaking, possessing a Bible and possessing a gun, possessing a Quran and possessing a gun, possessing some of the Vedas and sutras and a gun, then you're violating universal principles. You can't have it both ways, folks. Either your faith will be in technology and weaponry of this world, or your faith will be in weaponry and technology of the spiritual world. You can't have both. You have to choose. And I'm talking metaphorically. Now, obviously, in the real world, you very well better have a Bible and a gun, and you better well have a Quran and a gun. You better well have whatever religious text and a gun, because you're most certainly going to need it, probably within the next 7 days. The thing I'm trying to get at is do not ever for 1 second lose yourself and be allowed to be turned in to a mental slave. Do not allow yourself the benefit of freedom and exercising it. As long as you're not killing people or raping people or swindling people out of their money and just trying to be a general bad person. There's nothing wrong with your faith as long as you do not. As long as we have the Republic, which is funny. As long as you do not crap on the next person's ability to operate and have their life as well. I would never, and I have never suggested that everyone should be forced to pray a certain way or forced to bow down and worship anything. Even if they have no desire to, that's irrelevant. But the most relevant thing I can say to illustrate the point that I'm trying to make in such a roundabout way is that if we do not get with the spiritual conflict, and the spiritual conflict is basically this. It's been it's in a nutshell. You have to ask yourself, why am I alive? That's the first question on any spiritual journey. You have to understand, why am I even here? What is the purpose for all this? I mean, couldn't I have been born on another planet if there's life somewhere else? Or couldn't, why do I have to be on Earth? And then you understand what Earth really is. What is Earth? Is it just a place to, run around in dirt and trees and water and blah, blah, blah? Like some sort of evolved monkey, as the evolutionists would suggest? Or is Earth basically like a cosmic testicle, where we are all basically little sperms that somehow came from the testicle, and it's sort of like another representation of the birthing process that got you here to begin with. Every one of you that I'm talking to right now, I know it's uncomfortable as it may seem, but you were once a sperm. Literally, you were once a sperm. And then you became united with an egg that you basically dominated. You shut the door, told all your other brothers and sisters to F off, and you went on about your business. They died. You lived. Get over it. That same process seems to be repeated over and over and over. I mean, think about it. Even when you was in your father's testicles and you was regenerate into the sperm, then you swim into your mom, germinate the egg, right? Come out of your mom. And then what happens? See, this is what I'm saying. I didn't do this. This just pops up. It's crazy. This is crazy. It repeats the cycle. You live, you die. And then that's where, my Hindu friends will say, oh my God, I had to stretch out. Get a drink of water. My Hindu friends would say, That's where you have basically 3 days to go down the tunnel. Don't get seduced by the demons. And then you continue on. And basically at the end of the tunnel, there's a room where you see all these different people having sex at that particular time. You choose one, you pop in the scene. Well, bada boom, bada bing, you're reincarnated. Wow. Is it true? Is it not true? That's when scripture and dogma kicks in. You know, obviously from a Christian point of view, man's only appointed to live one time and die thus one time. So reincarnation is really not a big theme. Resurrection is basically just a continuation of the life that was, you know, I guess death. Your body comes back, almost zombieism. Islam, I'm just not that well versed on all of its precepts exactly pertaining to life. So the point is, you're alive right now. I'm alive right now. What can we do together to make a better planet for us all? I mean, a lot of people will see that if we don't, as they say, change our behavior to Earth, you know, a lot of people seem to become Earth worshipers. They worship the Earth. They worship the planet. You know, which one could almost argue is the original thing that most people begin to worship whenever they became aware. It's really sad. It's really sad that in order to worship planet Earth, you would almost have to be self-deceived. Not almost, you really do have to be self-deceived to believe that this is just it. This is the epitome of existence. This is the epitome of any existential experience, and it's not. It's just Earth. It's just Earth in the simple fact that even though we find ourselves in this messed up situation, we also can find ourselves not in this situation with the least bit of effort. I mean, what would really happen today if all of the minimum wage workers, straight up, every last one of them, said the heck with it? We go on strike. We don't need a union boss. We don't need that. We don't need none of this. We're just going to literally go on strike. Where are they going to get the new labor pool to make the burgers and deep fry the fish and all that good stuff? Where are they going to do that? And then what if it went even further? What if every major box chain store the next day decided, you know what? We're not coming in either. We're not coming in either. What would happen? What would really, this whole country would come to a screeching stop, seriously, on the third day if this were to happen as well. It takes 3 days. Everything's in threes. All the delivery drivers from all the major distribution houses and corporations that handles logistics all called out sick on the third day. First, it was the McDonald's worker. Second, it was the Home Depot guy. And third, it was the Coca-Cola driver. This country would come to a screeching halt. People wouldn't know. People would be beside themselves. But what would be the purpose of doing that? One would ask. Well, if you truly felt that you needed more money or truly wanted to negotiate some sort of contract. But that's not the real goal of these people, guys. The folks that are coming against the United States of America have agenda. And that agenda is to ensure that all the gangs of men, women, even the unborn to a certain degree, can come unfurled. there's a bunch of people that hate the United States. They hate what it stands for. They hate that it stands for freedom, and as untasteful as it gets sometimes, that means, yes, you will have men and men getting married in a free society. Sorry, that's just what it is. You will have interracial marriages in a free society. Sorry, that's what it is. You will have people committing crimes, unfortunately, in a free society. Because until everyone's chipped and bagged, people will still be able to do things in the dark and sneak around. But that kind of comes from a lack of trust from one another. Because there is no true brotherhood or statehood or nationhood. You know what there is? There's just hood. Everyone's out here for themselves. Everyone's out here trying to come up. Because we all know that, certain slogans, certain rhetoric sounds really, really hot and really, really good. But in a couple of years, it goes by the wayside. If you wasn't one of the leaders of the said organization, you don't come out with anything other than shattered dreams and loneliness, because you probably isolate yourself from everybody who really cared about you to begin with. There's more to life. There's more to this personal evolution in the mind and heart. But a lot of us will never get this opportunity to express this, because once again, it goes back to the original battle. The original war that we had nothing to do with, but it still affects us nonetheless. It affects us nonetheless. Why? Because no matter where you go, you can jump in a rocket and go to the moon today. But you know what's going to be going with you? Hunger, disease, immoral thoughts, a body that will eventually fail you, no matter how vegan you are or how nutritious you are. It's death is going to be in the rocket with you, no matter where you go in this whole universe, at least the 3D one. Death and pestilence, all the four horsemen are with you. That's the state of being you are in. Now, I know there's scientists that hope to rectify this by making some sort of scientific advancements, which I think Neil deGrasse Tyson said it best. And this really does apply to every non-believer out there. And I understand where he's coming from. God is an ever shrinking pocket of ignorance as one becomes enlightened by knowledge. Basically, if you're a person that has no spiritual connection, because honestly, without being spiritually connected, you have no scientific advancement. You really don't. Because these ideals, these theories that turn out to be true and practical and usable, functionable, where do you think the inspiration for that ideal comes? Oh, the guy just thought it up in his brain? No, the man or woman was given a gift. Some scientists are deeply religious, tremendously religious folks. Some scientists, not so much. But it really doesn't matter how religious you are versus how spiritually connected the potential could be. What would happen if science and spirituality was connected? What would you get? I can tell you the acronym. You'll get SS. Science, spirituality, SS. What I'm saying is this, guys. A lot of us have no business even going outside whatever mode you might have been born into. seriously, because if you don't really get the overall gist of it, it's just going to be confusing for you. You'll end up becoming frustrated and probably fall away from what little faith you do have, versus if you just readily accept what your preacher, imam, rabbi, guru, instructor, mentor, master, whatever, instructs you on, and just accept it as true. That's why all these talk shows are so damn popular. People aren't truly searching for the truth or any real introspective awakening. All they want is the song and the dance. They want something to be able to sound cool and intelligent around their buddies and blah, blah, blah. That's why this thing always keeps going and never really changing. That's the reason why. So my point is this. If we continue on, I foresee that basically, like the person said, the stock market will crash. Inevitable. The third temple will be rebuilt. Perceivable. And the book of Revelations will play out like most people kind of think it will. I find that highly amazing that after all this time, people still don't get it. When was the Dead Sea Scrolls found? Anybody? I don't want to have to Google that. Because I believe it was founded after the founding of the nation of Israel. What's up, Nick? Yes, I like that. Hold on, I want to say this just for people who don't, who aren't in the chat room or who listen to this afterwards. Nick says, thinking about that just invokes fear for the masses, let alone the elites are actually more afraid of us. You know, reason why the elites are afraid of us, and for good reason. Most countries, good morning, dear. Most countries are just on a shoestring of anarchy. Just like every organization. If people don't believe in it, if people don't believe that this job is worth going to, they're hold on one second. Let me, I knew that was happening. I'll be right back. Just I gotta close the door down the hallway. Hold on one second. All right, guys. Oh my God. I wonder. I want to. It won't work. See, the reason why the people, Nick, will not rise up in unison for a couple of reasons. One, the psychological programming that most of us been exposed to has been preset for disunity. In other words, if you was truly and sincere and pious, any religious entity, any one of you, any of them, it doesn't matter. One of the subroutines or one of the sub rules is that you basically don't associate with no one that's not down with your particular religion. Basically, and every one of them have that kind of aspect built into it. Some people focus on it more, some people doesn't. All right, but the thing is, if we fall into that trap, we will never be unified by default. Hold on. dog was about ready to start barking, so I don't want to have barks on my video. I find that kind of frustrating. But don't believe the hype. Trust me, guys. Everything is going to basically pan out like you think it is. There's not going to be a happy ending to this. I wish I could say this. I wish I could come up here and be like, hey, guys, this is going to be a great year. Everybody's going to be kumbaya on it. And yay. No, yay. Because unfortunately, well, there was a video. Hold on, let me go to this video that I did. I want to show you, and no one's talking about it, and I get why. I understand why they're not talking about it. Because, not that one. Not that one, not that one. Hold on. I think it's one where I show you where the statistics already shows by, yeah, here it is. Forecast for 2005.
Your learning experience is important. We get it. Experience hands-on learning at DeVry. Get started today.
With death, man. Look at all this resources. You want to guys relate? Okay. There it is. Hey everybody, this is Special Report. I'm Truepowerismine. Thank you for joining me. This is really an emergency broadcast. Just got off the line with a confidential informant. Hit me to some very interesting things that are going on, and I had to do a little research after we got off the line, and this is the skivvy of it. Remember, I've already told you on past shows, things are going to be crazy. All right, things are going to really get out of hand, but do not be scared, because in the end, we are going to win. Okay, so just bear that in mind. But this here will pretty much hip you to a lot of the things that are going on. Okay, so without further ado, let's jump right into it. And also, I believe I do have super chat now. I don't know. It should be some sort of link on, I guess, the client side or the viewer side. Please feel free, if you want to donate or help out the broadcast, whatever, use the super chat. All right, let's jump right into it. We're going to go right here to the United States of America. Okay. Now, hopefully you guys can see that. I want you to pay close attention to, no, this is actually Britain, okay? The UK. This is their figures. I'll pull up the United States next, but this is important that you see this as well. You're going to see the year is 2017. This is when this particular report came out. 66 million is what they anticipated. All right. The forecast for 2025, 15 million, folks. 15 million. That's a huge, huge jump down. Now, I was talking to a buddy of mine last night on the phone from down south, and he reminded me of something. Remember where they talk about warm wood? The rock coming out of the sky hitting the earth. And what did NASA say a couple months ago? Oh, in 2019, there's a probability that basically a asteroid, 100 times bigger than the one that hit, I believe, the crater in New Mexico, is going to hit. Well, wouldn't that really account for this? If the person putting this together knows that that's a reality? Let's jump to the United States. All right. Once again, I want you to pay attention to the year. All right. Here's the population. I'm going to try to get this into frame so you can see that. But I don't know if it's clear or not. But you can see the population's 327 million. All right. Let's jump down to forecast for year 2025. 100 million. Okay. 100 freaking million. Now, you guys are like, okay, you would like to see the information yourself, right? Just go to, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to type this over here. It might not pop up because it is a .com. But that's www.deagle.com. You're like, oh, that's just .com. No. think it's, oh, hold on. I'm trying to go to the website again. I think that's it right here. No. That's weird. I got hacked the other day, so I had to reformat my computer, or redo my Google Chrome here. But, what the hell did I say there? Because I don't think I put it in the description. I'm pretty sure I didn't.
We love the internet, but the internet is tracking.
Yeah. Come on. And it's supposed to be the damn fastest, whatchamacallit. And I didn't, did I?
Everything you do with IP vanish.
With death, man. Look at all this. These guys. Look at that. That is just pure death right there. And these are weapons that are being manufactured right now as we speak. I want to find that website. We're going to have a You know what? I think I did bookmark it. Hold on. Bookmark. Manage bookmarks or show book? No. Open bookmark page, maybe? No. Sorry, guys. I had to get a big screen so I can see what the hell I'm doing. Blah, blah, blah. History. See, I don't go to porn sites, so I can do this without being all embarrassed. Oh my God, man, this guy's a freak. I actually use my computer to try to. Damn, I watch a considerable amount of YouTube, don't I? Hold on. Because this is pretty important. That was a great resource site. Dang. Man, how much, No, I bet you I don't have it in here. I'm trying. Nope, I don't. All right, I will find that. I will get that information again. Hold on. I'm going to call Brother Abdullah and see if he remembered, because I was talking to him about it. He might remember that that website. Hopefully he does. If not, then I'm just sitting here wasting fucking time, and I hate wasting time. Oh, he's not even on. I'll try. What time would it be over there? Fuck. Oh, yeah, it's early in the morning. Okay, that's not going to work. Let him sleep. Other side of the planet, that's just what it is. I will get that. I will get the information for this particular deal. Okay, so you got the website then, Nick. That's cool. That's what I'm saying, man. We have been so utterly lied to. I don't even know what to say, guys. I really don't. Hold on. I just want to dip in on
to the kids. You really emulate that shit. We'd have them McDonald's spoons in our mouth and go get our butter and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because my generation, we was fashion. We was like fashion experts. You know what I'm saying? The young black boys of my generation, we was like fashion experts. We knew everything about fashion. So when we went to see Superfly, we went to see him for his clothes in the car. We didn't really go see Superfly for the movie. We went to see him for the tailor-made suits. It was like, you see him, he got a vine on. You see his vine? That was like, let me tell you some hood stuff. See, a vine was like the greatest shit in the hood. Now you're like, what's a vine? Okay, when you were a kid, we was going and we was saving up our money getting tailor-made clothes. So you would get a pants and a vest. A pants and a vest will cost you $90. $45 for the pants, $45 for the vest, right? Because vests don't use that much material because there's no sleeves. So you pay $90, you get your tailor-made suit, you get it made the way you want. If you got a walking suit was pants and it was like a little jacket with some sleeves in it. That might cost you $140 or something like that, right? Now, a lot of times I would get the pants and the vest with the lapel on. Now, if you wanted to get a pants, a vest, and a jacket, nobody could afford that. That's going to be, what, $300 probably?
Man, that was a lot of money back in the day. $300. Now look at this. Look what these people are. And this is one day ago. I want to show you guys what everybody's up to.
If it were easy to make money in the stock market, everybody be doing it. They're not rich.
We're tripping
on
other shit. This is what these people are tripping on. All right? That's what they're tripping on. So we had better get with it. We had better understand.
What up, YouTube? This is Bear, the Bear. Officially, this thing. By the way, this is probably controversial. By the way, I probably don't care. This is Fingernail, which is his operational name, radio handle. Some of y'all will know him from Patreon, which, you know, people say all the time, oh, you keep pumping Patreon. You know why? Because on Patreon, I get to actually become friends with people. That's right. God forbid that we would know people and enjoy their company. You know what I mean? So, yeah, because there's just a deeper relationship that happens.
Yeah, but you got to understand, man. These cats, I'm going to scroll in here. I don't even know what the hell they're talking.
What if you're dead? And if you haven't had any, or not dead, but, you know, less than ideal. But if you haven't had any false starts yet already, if bugging out is your plan, and if you haven't had a moment where you're like, I'm gone, I'm leaving right now, you're not paying close enough attention. And you're not taking this thing seriously enough. And then that gets into, you know, stay out of the way of law enforcement and military. And if you're law enforcement or military, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'd make damn sure it's constitutional. I'd make damn sure it's constitutional.
Okay, see, these guys are missing a point. If the state of emergency is basically what? Hold on, I got to see what this guy is saying. But state emergency is engaged. There is no constitution ultimately.
Daily Show host Trevor Noah continues to make his mark on late-night comedy. He recently introduced viewers to his grandmother in his hometown of Johannesburg to discuss his childhood under apartheid. His grandma said she used to be scared police would take Noah because he was a mixed race and interracial relationships were illegal.
Why did I give you a tough time, Google?
Because we wanted to play in the street, and I knew the flying squad was going to take me.
So if I was playing in the street, the police would have arrested me?
Yeah! You know, there were kids.
Noah shares how his family kept him hidden in his memoir, Born a Crime, Stories from a South African Childhood. The New York Times named it one of the top books of 2016. Trevor Noah, good morning.
Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning. So great to have you here.
You and your grandmother.
Oh, yeah, she was great. She was really fun. She still doesn't get what we were doing because she doesn't watch the Daily Show.
Does she know what you do? Have you sent her tapes or anything?
No, but
Irregardless of what he's about ready to say, I just want to touch on this. You know, you got to understand this guy's what, Dutch and African, right? His father, I believe, is from the Netherlands or something, and his mother's a resident of South Africa, black woman from there. Now, I find it odd, and this is you know, nothing against him personally, but there are no comedians from America. If we wanted to put a black guy in the seat on the Today Show or whatever show he's hosts, Jon Stewart's host show, they couldn't have picked not one African American indigenous man or woman. You know, Dave Chappelle, well, maybe he's too rough. Cat Williams, you know, maybe, you know, he may say something about the Illuminati. You know, Kevin Hart, he's pretty hot right now in all the movies, and he can have hosted that show. Or that one dude off of Whose Line Is It? I forget his name. Or, you know, why? It's very simple. It's really very simple. The reason why there's such a disconnect on this racial issue, on one hand, you have black folks and white folks saying racism doesn't exist, white supremacy isn't real. Even to use those terminologies would basically give them power over your mind, which, I understand that on a mental point. But when you're talking to people, you can't be so philosophize. You got to just be down to earth. The reason why people use those terms, they're trying to get a point across. And usually that point is rooted in frustration and or fear. All right. But the reality is there is a plan for black folks in America. It's been the same plan. Operation Garden Plot, blah, 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 Rex 84. Round us up and dispose. Our global image has been utterly bastardized and shot to hell on purpose by design. You go damn near anywhere in the world, people are going to look at you cross-eyed. And this is all by design. I say this to, once again, if we want to talk about history, then let's talk about modern history. Before you kill a people, you have to kill their image. Now let's hear what this clown has to say, because I want to know. The headline says firing black people for blackface controversy doesn't solve the problem, and I want to understand, or at least hear what he has to say, how letting people mock you and ridicule you or not saying nothing about it is cool. So this is what I want to hear.
And you know what's great is that she doesn't care. That's what I love. So my grand just goes, he's Trevor. That's why I like him. So I don't want her love of me to be determined by what I do or don't do in my work world.
Yeah, you couldn't play in the street, and so now you get to play on TV. Trevor, now getting serious for a moment, what do you make of what's happening with the Virginia governor?
Oh, well, it's an interesting conversation that I feel like we need to break down into so many pieces. First of all, I think a lot of people are hurt when you keep getting reminders of where America has come from and where America is for many people. To see somebody who's in power and you look back and you go like, oh, you were wearing blackface, you were part of this organization. Even if he says that wasn't him, he says he wore blackface for a Michael Jackson competition. I think a lot of the time it reminds people of a conversation that hasn't been had in America, it feels like. And that's a conversation around race and America's past. And a lot of people say, oh, but it's over now. It's like, yes, but you still have to have the conversations around it. And to his credit, Governor Northam does say, he says he wants to have the conversations. And I think you need to, because like you keep going further and further down the chain, you're going to find more and more blackface in Virginia. It's not going to end.
Right,
And so we like to think that we can fire a person or we can get rid of somebody when we find something like this. But that doesn't solve the problem. That doesn't have the conversation.
Right.
And someone took that photo of him. Okay,
stop it. Yeah, but it does solve the problem of that guy making money and that guy being able to propagate hate down the way. That's what it does solve. Now, will it solve the problem with this guy having hate in his heart for another race of people? No, absolutely it won't. Okay, I can dig that. But it will solve the problem of this guy getting a bunch of money and still being like, ha, I don't care. Because don't forget, a governor gets a residual check for the rest of his or her life after they leave office. They keep on getting paid. So I say we take the health care, you take the check, and then you let him go on with his little hateful self. And do that to all the politicians. And that will solve that problem. It will. And the same thing for if people, anything that anybody that has attitudes that would consciously restrict, hinder, or restrain another individual's rights under the U.S. Constitution should be removed from office. It's called rule of law. That's the point that people were trying to make during the marches and all that stuff back in the day. If you listen to a lot of those old folks, they knew that the moment that the way the welfare was being brought down, it was accepted by the young folks. They already knew the families would be destroyed. It's simple arithmetic. Man makes money. Woman needs money. Woman wants baby. Man needs money to provide for woman and baby. Well, if the government can come in and tells the woman, look, You can still have the baby, but you can't have the man. What do you think's going to happen? The man's going to be just used as a sperm receptacle. You know, it's sort of like a little bee, a little drone. Once he comes, impregnates the queen, she goes off, and, you know, that's that. That is unsustainable, guys. And that's the trap that a lot of us fell in. You know? And we have to get out of this trap. And it's so simple. It's so simple. You know what it's called? Freedom. True freedom. Not just make-believe freedom, where some people have rights, some people have privileges. And you don't believe me? I tell you what, this story here still messes me up. Jeffrey Epstein, this guy, got busted trafficking young boys and girls so rich men could do some very nasty things with them. Got busted doing that. Sentenced to a pitiful 9 months or something crazy like that. And, you know, it's funny. Here's the early life recap. Jeffrey Epstein was born in 1953 to a Jewish family in Brooklyn, New York. He grew up on Coney Island. Epstein's father worked for the New York Parks. After graduating from Lafayette High School in 1969, he attended classes at Cooper Union and dropped out in 1971, 1 year before I was born. He later attended the Quarton Institute of Mathematics Science at New York University, but left without receiving a degree. But he still made a ton, once again, a ton of money. Now, I want to see if they talk about his criminal bit. I mean, that's some of it. Oh, here's the sentence. In June 2008, I mean, okay, and let's just wrap our heads around that. 2008. Think about what was really going on in 2008. Everybody was talking about the economic crash. That's why this thing flew underneath the radar like it did. But, you know, and all this stuff was really going down, what, in the 80s, 90s, and all that. But in 2008, he finally gets charged. Okay, so in June 2008, after Epstein pleads guilty to a single state charge of soliciting prostitution from girls as young as 14. Why would that be a single charge if it implies that there's multiple? Okay, whatever. He was sentenced to 18 months in prison. 18 months in prison. So in other words, in New York, you know, the state where you can go and have an abortion when the baby comes out of the vagina, apparently you can walk up to a 14-year-old girl and solicit her for sex and only get a measly, 9 months or 18 months? Instead of being sent to state prison like the majority of sex offenders in Florida. Oh, my bad. Wasn't state in New York. I just threw that jab out there. I'll correct it. It was Florida. Epstein was housed in a private wing of the Palm Beach County Stockade. He was able to hire his own security detail and was allowed work release to his downtown office for up to 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. That just sounds like they were protecting him from fathers of victimized daughters that might have come after him. A private wing of the stockade. Do you think you'll get that type of treatment? What about it, Nick? Do you think if you had those charges on you, you would be, let's just send you over there to the private. Oh, you have a job downtown? You need to go down? Okay, let him go. Hey, he got private security. It's okay. Come on. This is why people crave money. All right? This is why. Because when you have money, you can do some heinous stuff like this. Yes, they're protecting him. You know why they're protecting him? Because that's the pimp for their boss. That's the guy that's getting the judges and everybody a good time. That's the guy. And it's horrible. It's horrible that our society as a whole doesn't rise up. Because you know what? Today or yesterday, it was some man's daughter down in Florida. But guess what? Tomorrow it could be your daughter or your son. So you think about that. That's some Spider-Man type shit. You walk out and you see the guy that's going to kill Uncle Ben, you know, just clowning in the hallway, and you could have stopped it. But no, I don't want to I'm making this money. I'm making this money. Later on, old boy takes out one of your loved ones. See, once people start inflicting pain and death on other people, then it's game off. It's game over. There's no more talking after that. There's really no more reconciliation to everybody in that situation dead and gone. Then maybe the young people can come together and do a couple of things. But a lot of our problems is damn near the Hatfields and McCoy type shit. It's been going on so long. It's going to get to such a point to where if people do have the inclination, be like, hey, man, why are we fighting? The sincere and honest response will be, I don't know. And that's where we're at. And I truly feel sorry for the people who are fighting themselves. There's a lot of people out here every day fighting themselves. Now let's get on to this Black History. Like I tried to do. There's a Black History Expo. You know, that was back in 2005. Well, we could really use another one of them. Shows us en route from Los Angeles Theater to White Memorial Hospital with Mark from Anaheim, aka Major Payne, who was complaining of a twisted left ankle. He apparently injured his ankle while running into the theater after the fire alarm and sprinklers went off and there was a fire, only to discover that there was no fire. It was actually a smoking something. And that's what that is. I thought that was a bigger story there. My bad. Who's this lady? Sandy T.M. Alexander. Gotta look her up. Now, I want to talk about something that many of you guys don't know about. And that is the Venus Project. A lot of you guys probably never heard of Ray Kurzweil. Ray Kurzweil is a computer programmer, computer sycophant, Basically, what he is a guy that wants to merge society with computers. Well, guess what, guys? IBM announced yesterday that later on this year they're bringing on their quantum computer online, and apparently it's been online actually, but it's going to be online, be sold to corporations. Okay, so what's the significance of a quantum computer? Well, the significance of a quantum computer is that, like right now, processes and algorithms that may take days to actually extrapolate and put the data in the correct format so that a person can analyze it, that work now can be done in a matter of seconds. Now there's no more days. We're getting closer to Minority Report, where we can actually do predictive programming on individuals with a high degree of accuracy. But there's still the danger. Hold on, what's this? Dick Gregory Hollywood Walk of Fame induction ceremony. I wonder if there's no, it's not. Now, this is what I'm saying. What's a constructive way to rise up against them? Good point, Nick. Good point. The most constructive way, and it's so simple. You got to get unified. You got to unify with people on the common plane. Now, I do suggest you go to my channel, and it's a very, very long video. It's 3 hours, 43 minutes, 15 seconds. It's called From Dictatorship to Democracy. It's an audiobook written by Gene Sharp. It's one of the most powerful books I personally ran into in the past 7 years. This book answers your questions. It lets you know See, a lot of us wants to try to go head to head against the system in its most strongest aspect. Its most strongest aspect is military might. Its weakest aspect is what? Public opinion. Just think about it. The most hardcore racist out there doesn't want you to call them a racist. The most hardcore bigot out there don't want you to call them a bigot. Because they understand. Oh, okay. There. Now, the thing is, it's going to take us working together, honestly. But that's not going to happen, Nick. I want to tell you, Nick, it's going to happen. In my heart of hearts, I really, really want to tell you that, but it's not. The divides are too deep. There's too much pain attached. No. I mean, if you want, I can totally share with you what I believe is going to happen, more than likely to happen. But I can't in clear conscience say we're all going to come together, kumbaya. I just can't. I wish I could. I truly, truly wish I could. So, hold on. Everybody's finally woken up here. This is crazy. Everybody finally woken up, so I got to shut her down because it's about ready to get loud up in here because there's going to be kids yelling and screaming and watching TV and all that good stuff. But this has been Special Report. I'm Truepowerismine. As always, let's try to be kinder to each other. Live your life with integrity without hate, envy, or greed. Peace.